This is a pair of old single bed headboards. The wood is oak. They've been around for a while, and they've been sitting around in the back of a closet for a few years, so I'm going to get to work on these and make them into a little bench seat for the kids to sit on when we go around and have dinner at my mum's house. I'm cutting this down now as wide as I can, getting rid of this curved decorative area and just maximising what I can get out of this board. And now I'm just going to tidy up this edge because it's got a few dings along there and it's got a bit of stain and stuff from over the years. So I'm just going to cut maybe a mil or two off there and just get that nice and straight and clean. The stock for the legs and rails came from this beautiful ash that my friend Peter in Hamilton milled about 3 or 4 years ago. So as usual, I've designed everything by eye and just taken measurements that I think will look okay. And here I am cutting the rails, and as you'll see later on, I think the proportions came out pretty good. I decided to put a 10mm border around the sides. I still have to cut off a bit of this to get rid of this big roundover, so I allowed for that. And that gives me 195 in here, and for length it's coming in just nicely at 800mm. Time now to square off the ends of the legs, and then I'm going to get them cut down to final length. I'm putting together a super simple tapering jig here. I've marked out my taper line, just come in by 10mm from the bottom there, come up by 100mm, so it's a very short taper, which maintains the stocky look of the leg, but just refines it a bit at the bottom. So the workpiece slides on there quite nicely, and I'm just now going to check the positioning on the back, and it looks alright. So when I run it through the table saw, it's going to cut this piece off, which is perfect. So doing my layout here, I've marked my waist where I'm going to cut my taper with X's here, and this gives me a good opportunity to get rid of some snipe that I got off the planer. In order to avoid these little wedges from falling down in between the blade and the tabletop here, I'm just putting down some tape, and that should help that problem. Clamp it on. So I'm just checking and double checking my orientation. I've got this, this is the top, this is the outside face, and that's how it's going to join up. Now just making sure I put that in the vise, the correct orientation. I'm packing it out by 6mm. And putting a stop outside that 6mm. Put my markers in. And then I can pull this up very carefully to the stop. Make sure it's flush at the end here. And there's my very nice clear little indents, my center holes for my next round of drilling. So figure 8 tabletop connectors are very difficult to find in New Zealand. There's one place you can get them, and you have to buy 1,000 of them. I got these connectors, they were 25 cents each. And fantastic service. I'm cutting this right down the middle where it was joined previously, probably 50 years ago. It's quite difficult to see the join where the two boards meet, but that's where I've lined up the fence for, and I'm going to rip it down the middle and see if we can flatten this thing out. So here's the results of that. This is the underside. It still has the twist in it. And the side that I just planed, nice and flat. So I've cut the bevel on the side of the down the length here, and I'm gonna have to use the circular saw for the ends because my my crosscut sled is too narrow this way, and the table saw is too small to run this along the fence. And that is spot on. I guess it's about, looks to be about 7 degrees, is what it is. Well, I think this turned out pretty good in the end. and this cheese in here with this chutney is just fantastic. Cheers guys.